Oh, Indiana, the national champs, Indiana. Oh man, okay. Let's dive into Indiana, right? I got some words for Indiana actually. I did a video about Indiana in January, and I got a lot of flack from the Indiana fans. So let's try to restart this friendship, Indiana, right? Because what I was trying to say is, I think a lot of people got caught up with me saying that he had to prove it again after he just won the national championship, rightfully so. But what I was trying to say is, you go from being the hunter to the hunted. Can you prove it again? And I think Indiana fans took that the wrong way. So let me start off where I left off in that other video is Indiana. You go from worst to first in a matter of 2 years. Can Indiana handle being the hunted? Let's talk about storylines for the Indiana Hoosiers going into the season. Big Ten pressure. It's going to be a little different now. And we'll dive into that schedule, what that looks like. Some key returners that I like. Offensive line. Carter Smith, right? Drew Evans, right? Bray Lynch. 3 guys returning on the offensive line. I love it. Charlie Becker, top receiver. Probably be a top receiver in the draft next year. Love it. Returning. Let's go to the defensive side. Amari Farrell, Jamari Sharp, right? Raylan Gandy, DBs. Love it. Love when I have a defense that has DB experience, that has national championship experience, right? Not to mention, I got experience up front on the interior D-line with Tyree Tucker and Danielle Ndukwe, sorry, right? So, did they lose a lot of guys? Absolutely. But they're returning a lot of guys with experience in key positions, right? So, you think about some of the people they got coming in, right? I just mentioned 3 DBs. Well, guess what? They took Penn State's best defensive corner, A.J. Harris, right? They took Wisconsin's best safety, Preston Zachman, right? Indiana knew what they were doing. And they're getting guys that fit their program, right? They're getting guys that fit their program. Not to mention, they went to Notre Dame and got one of their best linemen in Joshua Burnham. So you see what they did. They built from the front to the back, right? On the offensive side, some key pieces here, but defensively, even though they just got off of a national championship and doing what they just did, this is going to be a very experienced defense next year, right? So again, is there enough? Can they handle being the hunted? I think they can. Because it's not like these guys are playing for the first time, right? It's not like these guys haven't played in the Big Ten or on big stages for the first time. You think about where these guys are coming from. Penn State, Wisconsin, Notre Dame. Then go to the offensive side. We already talked about the 3 offensive linemen coming back, right? What about Nick Marsh, top wide receiver from Michigan State, right? Yeah, he got in trouble for the gold cleats at first spring practice and got cursed out. That's a him problem, right? But he'll get right. But you know the one guy I'm excited about. Yep, you know the one guy I'm excited about, right? That's Josh Hoover. Quarterback from TCU, transfers to Indiana. Why am I excited for Josh Hoover, right? Because he is a rhythm passer, and that fits perfect in that Shanahan, offensive coordinator for Indiana, Shanahan's offense, right? Playing in rhythm. That's what Josh Hoover is, right? Josh Hoover, career-wise, 8.4 yards per pass. So that shows you he will throw the ball downfield. It's not just dink and dunk. He will throw the ball downfield, right? He will take chances and let it rip. We're talking about a guy that has over 9,600 passing yards, 71 passing TDs, 65 completion percentage, right? Over 770 career completions. They got a guy that fits their system, and they got one of the top quarterbacks in the transfer portal last year. Perfect for what Indiana does, perfect for what Shanahan wants, right? Let's dive into their schedule. Because as I mentioned, we talked about going from being a hunter to the hunted. Now their schedule. Don't look at it right yet. Let's just start. They got North Texas, Howard, Western Kentucky. Then they got Northwestern, Rutgers. Then it starts to heat up. Because Nebraska, playing at Nebraska is no slouch. They've sold out that game for about, they sold out Nebraska for about 2,000 something games in a row, right? Not only that, the following week, Ohio State comes to town. Not only that, next week you go to the Big House. And then don't sleep on Minnesota. Minnesota is known for catching someone sleeping in October and November. Whatever boat they're rowing up there in the land of 10,000 lakes, right? Minnesota, do not sleep on Minnesota. They will catch someone sleeping. Then USC comes to town. This is going to be USC's Illinois game like last year, where they have to travel all the way across to play probably what's going to be a noon kickoff, right? And then after that, you have to go out west to play Washington before you come back and play Purdue. So it starts easy-ish for Indiana. But listen, by October 10th, it's going to heat up, and it's going to heat up quick, right? So when I go back to that question that I asked you, can they handle being hunted? It's because if they're going to be a playoff team, their playoffs are probably going to start a couple weeks early. And there's no ifs, ands, or buts about that, right? Now, questions going into this fall camp, right? If I'm an Indiana fan, all right? And Indiana fans, listen, when you see the content come out, drop a comment. Let's talk about it. My question is, was 2025 the beginning or the peak, right? Now, I'm not trying to throw shade. It's a serious question. You saw the schedule you had. You saw the type of talent you guys got coming in, right? Can you, not saying you have to repeat that type of season, right? But can you still be of the upper echelon of top tier talents, right? What's the realistic expectations? Indiana fans, talk to me. What realistic expectations do you have for your program? And not to mention, we saw what Fernando did last year, right? What's your expectation for Josh Rubrick? If you're expecting him to be a Fernando Mendoza or have some type of success like that, you're setting yourself up for failure. Don't get me wrong. He's a good quarterback. I like him a lot, right? But we're talking about a Heisman Trophy winner, national champ, #1 pick. Now, if he repeats that, kudos to Cignetti. I owe him a beer and a cigar, right? And I will Google him for the rest of my life, right? But let's see. Again, this is a fan base check-in. This is not me trying to dump on any team. Like, let's talk about it. Let's have grown-up college football conversations when it comes to this, all right?